Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Arizona.
A big day here at Chase Field today, the Outdoor Street Festival and Wade Miley Garden Gnome Night. Diamondbacks fans pouring into Chase Field and getting their very own D-backs collectible. Here it's Wade Miley Garden Gnome Night with Wade Miley on the mound. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way as the Diamondbacks and Rockies get set to play Game 3 of this 4-game series. Jeff Francis is on the mound tonight for Colorado, and Wade Miley on his Garden Gnome Night will take the mound for the Diamondbacks. First, the very latest on Didi Gregorius. Many of you have been asking, what is the latest with Didi? Well, at this point, the news appears to be very encouraging. He was hit in the head by a pitch last night against the Rockies. He passed his written test flying colors. A CT scan showed no neurological damage whatsoever. So at this point, the news appears very encouraging. Didi will take the field before tomorrow's game, and at that point, they'll make an evaluation as to where to go from here.
Not a good feeling at all, you know, especially getting hit in the head, and you try to do everything to get out of the way, but you know, sometimes you can't, so it just hit me square. So it was a really bad feeling for me, the first time getting hit in the head, so it was weird. Well, I feel a little bit better than yesterday, you know, but just a little bit tight in the head, but everything will be all right, the doctor said, so, and then we'll get checked up later too.
Bob, what's it like for a young player who's been off to such a terrific start like that to get hit in the head? Thankfully, he appears to be okay, but then moving forward.
I think he'll be okay moving forward. Position players are used to being hit. Didi got hit about 20 times in his minor league career, probably none worse than the one last night, but I think he'll bounce back well.
All right, a big night here at Chase Field. Wade Miley on the mound on Wade Miley Garden Gnome Night, and you can make the argument, Bob, that he and Patrick Corbin have been the Diamondbacks' best two starting pitchers.
Well, they've been most consistent, that's for sure. Wade Miley's put up 4 quality starts. He's pitched well enough to win all 4 of those ball games. His record stands at 2-0. He's played some good defense on the mound, which he needs to do. He throws that ball low in the zone, gets a lot of ground balls.
Big night for Wade Miley and for Diamondbacks fans. First 20,000 through the gates here at Chase Field got their Wade Miley Garden Gnome, so they'll be on display all over the ballpark tonight. Coming up, Wade looks to rock the Rockies. Much more from Chase on the way.
Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is brought to you in part by the UPS Store. Flyers, business cards, brochures, and more. We can print that. And by Valley Honda Dealers. There's a great deal on every new Honda. Visit your Valley Honda dealer today or online at valleyhondadealers.com.
Welcome back to D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. As you well know, it is Wade Miley Garden Gnome night here at Chase Field, and this little guy has been all over the country, so it's only fitting that he go to the D-backs Recreational Expo here outside of Chase Field. As we all know, Wade is really big into hunting and archery, so the Arizona Game and Fish kind enough to provide an archery range here. This is my own version of the Hunger Games. Not bad. Wade would be proud. To have a great hunt, you have to be able to call the varmints to you, and because this is the Phoenix Varmint Callers Incorporated. I'm here with Jerry. Could you do a couple of calls for us and for Wade as well?
Certainly. I'll do a cottontail in distress.
Okay. Do you have a Wade Miley call?
There you go.
Well, leave it to Wade Miley to land a lunker. Coming up next, it's Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Wade Miley goes for the win against the Rockies.
Four in this series with their two best pitchers this season going over the weekend. Wade Miley tonight and Patrick Corbin here tomorrow afternoon. Wade Miley pitching on Wade Miley Garden Gnome night and facing Walt Weiss's Colorado Rockies, who got the big win here last night to split the first two games of this four-game set. And here is the lineup for Colorado, Bud.
Pretty much the same we've seen all year from Walt Weiss. Dexter Fowler up at the top. Jordan Pacheco has been swinging the hot bat. He's back in the lineup at first base tonight, while Todd Helton is on the 15-day DL. We know about Tulowitzki and Gonzalez in the middle. Got to keep an eye on those guys.
Your Arizona 4 Diamondback starting pitcher is Wade Miley, an outstanding 1.07 whip, 108. That's walks plus hits per innings pitched. Whip measures how many base runner a pitcher allows. And for context, 1.08 is really good.
Really good. See the 221 opponent's batting average. He's only walked 7 batters in his 4 starts this season. Hopefully more of the same from the lefty tonight.
Dexter Fowler, Jordan Pacheco, and Carlos Gonzalez here. We're underway at Chase Field, and it's 1-0 to Fowler. Roof and panels are closed here. They say they may open them up later as weather permits. Foul down the right-hand side. 1-1 now. Dexter Fowler, 293, 7 homers and 12 RBI. Two for 5 last night in the leadoff spot. 2-1 is the count now.
It always catches me by surprise in the first inning of a Wade Miley start. I look down at my scorebook, and by the time I look up, he's already thrown another pitch.
Work fast and throw strikes. That's Wade Miley's game. And there is the Gnome. The Gnome's already been all over the country with us.
I have my own Gnome now. We've been carting yours around, but I'm proud to say I have my own Wade Miley garden Gnome now.
Well, everyone should. Leadoff walk to Dexter Fowler to start the game. And this has been a recurrent theme here for Wade Miley. We mentioned that Bobby settles into a groove and does a good job of doing that, but the first inning has been his biggest hurdle this season. He does very well once in a rhythm, but that usually takes a few batters. In fact, Miley has yet to get through a first inning this season without allowing at least one base runner.
And we saw him looking down at the mound after a couple of those pitches bounced in the dirt to Miguel Montero. Maybe just not quite comfortable on the game mound yet. There's always a little difference between the bullpen mound and the game mound.
But once he does settle in, he can get on a roll. But the question, as it often is with Trevor Cahill, is getting through that first inning and establishing that comfort level and that rhythm. Got some nice kicks tonight, I'll say that. Jordan Pacheco, 357, no homers and 4 RBI. He was on base 4 times last night. 2 singles, a double. He was hit by a pitch. And as you can see, the splits are an issue.
There's a number of Rockies hitters that have very unusual splits. Righty lefty, guys that you would expect to hit right-handed pitching have not done so. Guys that you would expect to hit the righties have struggled, including Pacheco.
Troy Tulowitzki in the hole here. 2-0 to Pacheco. So once again, Wade Miley will not get through a first inning without allowing at least one base runner. Wade had a 3-run first against him versus Pittsburgh and a 2-run first inning against San Francisco. The repertoire as such.
A couple of different fastballs. Relies heavily on that two-seamer, especially against the right-handed hitters. He'll mix in some good change-ups and an occasional back foot slider to the righties or away from the lefties.
Ball 4, 2 on, nobody out here. Pair of leadoff walks from Wade Miley to start the game.
Walks are never a good thing, but especially when you've got the guys lurking in the middle of this Rockies lineup the way Walt Weiss has them stacked up tonight. Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, Kadire, and Rosario. Definitely don't want to put guys on base ahead of him, but that's what Wade Miley has done. Now he needs to pitch out of this jam.
He's thrown 9 pitches, only 1 for a strike. And if there's good news when you're facing Carlos Gonzalez, it's right now Cargo is slumping somewhat. In there at 298 on the year, 4 homers and 12 RBI. But as of right now, he's 3 for his last 29 with 10 strikeouts. He was 1 for 5 last night, singled and scored a run, also struck out twice. There's a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, Cargo in the early going this year, one of those guys that kind of has the backward splits. He's hitting .360 against left-handed pitching this season. only 271. I say only by cargo standards against righty.
Miley ahead now 0-2.
I have a feeling that before the season's over, those numbers against right-handed pitching are going to be very similar to the ones against lefties, and the ones against lefties will probably drop down to what he's hitting against righties right now.
But those are backwards.
Yeah.
Left-hand hitters are supposed to struggle against left-hand pitchers, Dante Bichette. Something for him to ponder as the Rockies hitting coach. Second base, can they turn it? Wilson, Pennington, Goldie. They roll it, Fowler to third.
That's a good thing about a ground ball pitcher. Even in a jam, you're only one pitch away from getting out of the inning. Taylor made double play that time. 4-6-3. Cliff Pennington with the strong throw on to Goldie to complete it.
And now we have to start a Cliff Pennington high sock watch.
Oh, yeah.
I believe he's debuting the new look here.
He's on the board.
We haven't solved the other one yet. Here's Tulo. Troy Tulowitzki at 297, 6 homers and 21 RBI. And he has been a handful. 1 for 4 last night, and he of course had the biggest hit of the game last night, a 3-run double in the 5th off Brandon McCarthy. One and one now. That was the 4th double play ball that Wade Miley has induced this year. 3 of them have come in the first inning, and that would fit the narrative, as we mentioned, Wade having trouble getting going in the first. But once he settles in, he has been dynamite. One and two now. Tulo just 3 for his last 16. I think you're right, Bob. I think he comes out of the gate working at such a quick pace. I really do think that it might take some guys time to adjust in their first at bat. It can go by a lot quicker than you're used to.
Just like pitchers have a rhythm out there on the mound, hitters have a rhythm too. They like to take a certain amount of time between pitches. Everybody's got to strap their batting gloves on a little bit tighter, knock the dirt out of their cleats, and Wade Miley standing on the rubber waiting the entire time. Can't wait to throw that next pitch.
Troy Tulowitzki's had nothing but big hits against the Diamondbacks so far this year. Thursday night, RBI double in the 7th that made it a 1-run game. Last Sunday at Coors, a home run off Brandon McCarthy that gave the Rockies the 4-2 lead. He homered in the series opener in Denver last Friday off Ian Kennedy. And of course last night the big 3-run double. 3-2 now. Michael Kadire is on deck. He's had a good season so far. All-star caliber numbers for Kadire. Ball 4. 3rd walk of the inning issued by Wade Miley.
Had walked 7 in 26 innings coming into tonight's action. Just doesn't seem comfortable out there on the mound right now.
Michael Kadire.
So Fowler's at 3rd, Tulowitzki's at 1st, 2 outs, and Kadire steps in at 325. 5 homers and 17 RBI. Kadire had a big 2-run single in the first inning here last night. One and 0. 20 pitches so far for Wade Miley, 7 for strikes. Right field, out of play.
You don't suppose it's the pressure of all the Garden Gnomes watching him tonight?
I'm not sure, frankly, how it can't be. I mean, if there were 20,000 likenesses of you sitting around, people waving them, and it's got to be a little intimidating. Although the Gnomes are silent, they don't say anything. It's part of the deal. Two and one. Three and one now. Wade Miley has a good track record against these Rockies. 4-0 in 6 career starts. The ERA just a smidge over 3. So this struggle here is a little bit off the menu for Wade against Colorado. Ball 4. Fourth walk of the first inning issued by Wade Miley, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs.
Charlie Nagy out with a quick visit to the mound just to have Wade Miley take a deep breath and relax and start over again. It'd be quite the escape job if he's able to get out of this first inning without allowing the Rockies to score a run.
He's thrown 24 pitches, 16 of them have been balls.
So out of character for Wade Miley.
Especially if you consider he's been exceptional in his last 2 starts, although both were hard luck no decisions. Allowed just 4 hits in 6 2/3 at Yankee Stadium last Wednesday. In his previous start Monday at San Francisco, had trouble early, gave up 3 straight doubles in the first, but then shut the Giants out the rest of the way. Retired 11 straight at one point and 17 of 19. But now he'll work here to Willeen Rosario with the bases loaded. 309, 5 homers and 15 RBI. 4 walks already ties Wade Miley's career high in any game, and he's not yet out of the first inning. It's right behind home plate umpire Gary Cederstrom. Mickey trying to sell that a little bit, Bob.
Ball's doing some funny things back there. I think Miguel was expecting that ball to sink. Instead, it cut into the right-handed hitting Rosario. Miggy barely got leather on it, but fortunately it stays right there next to the home plate umpire.
Fowler at third, Tulowitzki at second, Kadire at first. Two and 0. Rosario 2 for 4 last night with a single and a home run. He's 6 for 19 over his last 5. Crowd here at Chase encouraging Wade Miley. Two and 1.
The ball cutting back inside again. That's something we don't normally see from Wade Miley. Throws a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer. The 4-seamer straight. The 2-seamer has some tailing, sinking action, but that fastball he's been throwing in this inning has been cutting into the right-handers.
He's a strike away from wiggling off a big hook here in the first. D-backs Nation making some noise here at Chase. They are full with 2 outs. Struck him out. Wade Miley walks 4, but strands the bases loaded in a roller coaster first inning on Wade Miley Garden Gnome night. We'll go bottom 1. Wow.
After issuing 4 walks in that first inning, came into the dugout, threw his hat, and was a little emotional. Kirk Gibson quick to quiet him down, and I think it was Willie Bloomquist said, hey, we're all good. You got a no-hitter still going. So all is well in Wade Mileyville right now.
Well, boy, that was an adventure. Wow. And now here's another one for you. Kirk Gibson with a little wrinkle in the old lineup card, Bob. Martin Prado will lead it off here.
Well, trying to find some way to get Martin jump-started. He's such an unselfish hitter. He's given away so many at-bats trying to advance runners. Maybe you put him up in that top spot where he doesn't have to worry about moving runners. He can get that bat going a little bit.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It seems like he spent the entire season having to hit the ball to right field to advance runners because Parra and Pollock ahead of him have been on base all year long. Let him get up there and drive one.
And because Parra's swinging the bat as good as he is right now, you move him down into more of an RBI spot.
Whoa, look at that. He hit it to left. Nelson at third, one away. On the mound for the Rockies, the slow ball artist, Jeff Francis.
Yeah, you look in the dictionary under soft tossing lefty, there'll be a picture of Jeff Francis. His average fastball this year, right at 85 miles per hour, throws a lot of curveballs, real slow in the high 60s, throws a lot of changeups. He's a trickster at this stage of his career.
A.J. Pollock. A.J. hitless last night against the Rockies. He's 0 for 8 in the series so far. In there at 247, 2 homers and 9 RBI.
There's a big slow curve just off the outside corner. For a 3-year stretch, Jeff Francis was really good for the Rockies. Won 44 games in the 05, 06, 07 season, then had shoulder surgery.
Crushed and gone. A.J. Pollock, his 3rd home run of the year. 4 walks, not an issue. 1-0 D-backs.
Wow.
That's another Fulton home run. $150 goes to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association, courtesy of A.J. Pollock.
4th home run that Francis has surrendered this year, all to right-handed hitters. Those righties ought to be running out of that third base dugout to get in the batter's box tonight.
Boy, it's a funny game. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Wade Miley walks 4 in the first inning. And 2 batters into the D-backs first. It's 1-0 Arizona. That is something else. A.J. Pollock.
Yeah, Francis has thrown 7 pitches, 6 of them for strikes, and he's behind 1-0. Wade Miley couldn't find the strike zone with a compass.
It is a funny game. Goldie now. One more look.
Boy, fast homer. Breaking ball that stayed up over the inside part of the plate. No doubter.
Goldschmidt hitless last night, 1 for 8 in the series so far. The one being the, speaking of towering home runs, the one he hit Thursday night that clanged off the top of the left field foul pole. And suddenly it's a whole new ball game for Wade Miley. Ian Kennedy trying to, looks like, kind of calm him down a bit there, Bob.
Well, I'm sure Ian Kennedy's had starts in his career where he felt the same way Miley did in the first, as that one's popped into center field for Dexter Fowler. 2 down. That always, you know, the pitching coach can talk to you, the manager can talk to you, but when one of your teammates comes over and says, hey, I've been there, done that before, settle in, you got a lot of baseball left to go, maybe give him a word of advice.
I mean, dude, you got a 1-0 lead and you got a no-hitter going, so it's all good at this point.
Oh, brother.
Here's Miguel Montero.
Maybe we need to draw a bullseye in Miggy's glove. That might help Wade Miley. We know he can shoot arrows in a bullseye.
0-1 now. Montero, good track record against Jeff Francis. 5 for 11 with a home run career. And the Gnome is everywhere here at Chase Field tonight. Got good seats right behind home plate. Broken bat right at Francis. Rutledge makes a play. There is no play. Base hit. A little bit of everything tonight so far in the first.
That bat comes apart. The barrel goes helicoptering out into the middle of the field.
Boy, that thing's in about 4 pieces.
That's a pretty nice play by Rutledge. Just not enough time to get Miggy at first base.
So Miggy's had back-to-back hits. He singled in his last at bat last night. That brings up Cody Ross. Cody did not start the game here last night. He did come in as a pinch hitter in the 7th and flied out. 1 for 4 in the series opener Thursday night against Jorge De La Rosa. Sun beginning to set outside. Roof is closed. Panels are closed here this afternoon.
Hoping to get some fresh air a little later in the ball game. They said if the weather permits, the roof may be opened up once the sun goes down. We always like it with the lid open.
That's nice. That's where they actually. That's where the call goes into, and that's where they push the button. It's like Oz's curtain back there. 1-1 now. Cody back after a big road trip. 324 on the 9 games. 12 for 37 with 5 RBIs. Good to see Miggy get that base hit too. As we've said, he looks closer and closer to digging his way out.
Well, it's good to finally get some results, even though it came at the expense of a broken bat. Miggy's hit a lot of balls hard lately. Even those times when he tries to go to the left side, he's hit it right at the third baseman or right at the shortstop.
Two now. Hard. Fair ball. Down left field. They wave Montero into third. Matt Williams windmilling Miggy in. Cody heads for third. Here comes Montero. He will score. RBI triple for Cody Ross. And it's 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Well, what a great approach by Cody Ross. On off-speed pitches, your tendency is to want to pull the ball to your strong field. Cody Ross instead stays on that off-speed pitch, shoots it down into the right field corner. Cuddyer with all kinds of issues out there getting to the ball. Miguel Montero running hard from first base, able to come all the way around and score.
So 2-0 D-backs, and here is the red-hot Gerardo Parra with a career-high and league-leading 11-game hit streak.
I can't tell you what a good approach that was. That slow breaking ball. Your natural tendencies to want to try to jerk it to left field. Instead, he let the ball get very deep in the zone. Just shot it down into that right field corner.
Parra at .315, a homer and 5 RBI. 11-game hit streak, hitting .326 over that span, 14 for 43. During the hit streak, an on-base percentage of .388. Jeff Francis, like Wade Miley, in trouble here early. There are the numbers over the streak for Gerardo Parra. He was on base 3 times last night in the leadoff spot. Parra to first. Pacheco is there. Francis covers. That ends the inning. But the Diamondbacks get 2, an RBI triple by Cody Ross, and A.J. Pollock's 3rd home run of the year. Going, gone. We're through 1, and somehow it's 2-0 D-backs. Garden Gnome night. Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 2-0 as we're set for the top of the second. So buckle up. Who knows what's next here? 4 walks for Miley in the first. Yep, 4 walks. None of them scored. And now he's been staked to a 2-0 lead. He'll face Josh Rutledge, Chris Nelson, and Jeff Francis 7, 8, 9 here in the Colorado second. Rutledge had the night off last night. He was 0 for 3 with a walk in Thursday's series opener. Center field, A.J. Pollock. Alparo wants it in right. He'll take it, 1 away. Outfield of Cody Ross in left, A.J. Pollock in center, and Gerardo Parra in right. Cody with the high Sox tonight. Here's Chris Nelson, the third baseman. Nelson at 254, no homers and 4 RBI. He will strike out. He's got 18 strikeouts in 63 at bats. He was 0 for 4 here last night with a couple of strikeouts. In his last 6 games, Nelson just 2 for 15. Chased it in the dirt. There is the strikeout. 2 down. 2 up and 2 down for Wade here in the second.
And maybe a slightly slower pace for Wade Miley. Not so much between pitches, but after he starts his windup. Seemed like he was really rushing through his delivery in that first inning. I mean, Wade never slows down, but once he gets a sign from Miggy, you want to be under control with your windup so you can get that arm in a good position.
Jeff Francis, the pitcher, now with 2 outs. If I was facing Wade Miley, I would have my guys step out of the box as often as possible to try and disrupt that rhythm.
I'm surprised more guys don't do that.
Because as we mentioned, once he settles in, he can mow him down 9, 10, 11 in a row.
You know, we've talked about it before. Wade Miley just doesn't like to ever turn his back on his catcher. Keeps the pace of the game moving. Keeps him plugged in with Miguel Montero back there behind the plate.
Ian Kennedy was giving Wade a pep talk in between innings. Seems to have worked. There it is. 3 strikeouts in the game for Wade Miley. A 1-2-3 second. Will go bottom 2. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks.
and I will, you know, with all my heart be sending mine to him so that Wade can look over his garden. I mean, it's uncanny how much it looks like Wade. I mean, if I had to picture Wade as a gnome with a fly rod, this is exactly how I would picture it.
JJ seemed almost mesmerized by the likeness. And now Kirk Gibson has the real thing talking back at him. What a ball game. What a weird, crazy game this is. Josh Wilson in there now.
That's why we show up every day. You just never know what you're going to see in a baseball game.
Josh getting the start at second base tonight. And Josh Wilson has himself a base hit to lead off the second. He's now 4 for 20 this year. There you go, Josh.
There you go.
Josh doesn't need gnomes or anything. He just shows up, punches in the time card, gets it done. He's not into any of that sort of, you know, the extracurricular stuff. Hey, gnomes are nice, don't get me wrong, but all you need is a little fan base, a little fan club there with some signs. Here's Cliff Pennington now. Cliff 1 for 25 since his last multi-hit game. That was the finale of the Dodgers series back here on the 14th. Jeff Francis had an encouraging start in his opener this season, allowing only 1 earned run in 6 innings. That was a win against the Padres. Since then, things have not gone at all well. He was shelled at his next start by the Giants, lasted only 1 2/3. Then couldn't go longer than 4 1/3 in either of his next 2 starts. And he's behind here 2-0 early.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
This should be a taco day, Bob.
I would think so.
This has got tacos written all over it.
Coming in with a fastball. Almost halfway to tacos right there.
Jeff Francis last on the mound Tuesday. He went only 4 innings against the Braves, allowed 4 runs on 6 hits, including 3 home runs. He's given up 1 home run tonight to A.J. Pollock, who we just saw there. 1 2 to Pennington. Miley is on deck, and he homered his last game. Another missed opportunity there for a D-backs contract. Got to make those plays.
Yeah, we're looking to give away our first of the year. Somebody's got to catch it.
Little guy's got his D-backs gear on, all D-backed up. That's a great shot.
Oh, man. That's a gold nugget to that young man.
No, don't throw it back then. Treats. Some are just interested in the snacks.
Nothing wrong with that.
1-2 now. Keeping a close watch on Josh Wilson over there. Big popcorn with the glove. How about that? See, he's ready. He's not going to let the snacks interfere with being ready for a foul ball. That's good fundamental fandom right there.
Real good fundamental fandom.
Throw down to first. first. I mean, Josh Wilson, it's not like Lou Brock is over there. What are we doing?
I think the idea is to try to get an out without throwing a pitch to home plate. Rosario with a good quick snap throw, but Wilson didn't really have that much of a lead, neither primary nor secondary.
Keeping everybody honest. Good at bat here by Cliff Pennington, working the count. Walt Weiss wants Jeff Francis using the fastball to complement the changeup. And Weiss says that Francis is a back and forth guy. Those two pitches have to work off one another, and that Francis is well aware of the adjustments he needs to make. It all becomes a matter of executing the game plan. And when your fastball averages 84 miles an hour, you better have something else. 3-2 now.
Jeff Francis was described earlier today by a member of the Rockies traveling party as Jamie Moyer with a little bit more gas.
Jamie was about 82, so you're looking at 84. That fits.
Yeah.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up here. Struck him out looking. Gary Cederstrom rings him up. First strikeout tonight for Jeff Francis.
It takes some guts to challenge on the inside part of the plate with an 85-mile-per-hour fastball, but that time Cliff Pennington, obviously expecting something else out over the plate, just froze.
88, that's, well, yeah.
Maybe a little tailwind.
He throws the four-seam fastball only 3% of the time, and that averages 87.5. So he tops out, and that's being generous at 88. Wade Miley, Francis will field. Wilson up to second with 2 outs. Wade Miley, now we expect Wade to hit a home run every time he's up there. Let him swing away.
Third baseman.
Put it down perfectly to that first base side of the field. There you go.
That was during the bunt, sort of going to the Wade Miley mojo there. Wonder Twins, yeah. There's Martin Prado in the leadoff spot tonight. Grounded to third his first time up. Bat here. Martin's going to need another stick. If you're wondering, Martin Prado has 590 previous at bats in the leadoff spot, where he is a career .298 leadoff hitter with 19 homers and 71 RBIs. And other than hitting second, where he's got nearly 1,500 career ABs, Prado has hit leadoff more than in any other spot in the lineup. So this is not unfamiliar territory.
Well, he does a lot of things you like to see a leadoff hitter do. He sees a lot of pitches. He'll take his walks if he doesn't get anything to swing at.
It's just nice to watch him be up there with the ability to drive a ball to all fields. He's so good at going the other way and moving the runner along and tomahawking balls over to right, that visually that's all we really see now, because we've seen it so often this year. It's hard to picture Martin being up there and just swinging away. And hopefully that'll get him going. Prado 0 for 5 last night. His last multi-hit game was April 12th against the Dodgers. Since then, he's 8 for 55. 1 for 13 over his last 3.
Keep an eye on Willeen Rosario back there behind home plate. When he calls for the big curveball from Jeff Francis, he really widens out his stance behind home plate, getting prepared to possibly block a ball in the dirt. On fastballs and changeups, pitches that Francis normally will get to the plate in the air, he just assumes a normal catching position, looks very relaxed. And that breaking ball, he really widens out his stance.
Shortstop Tulowitzki behind the runner Wilson. Throws over. That's the inning. D-backs get a leadoff single. They leave one. We're through 2-0 Arizona.
Want to get the best in the ball.
Score of 2-0. Brad Steinke joined by Debbie Castaldo, who is the VP for the D-backs in terms of corporate and community impact, and you're certainly making an impact today. Today is the day that you and Ken Kendrick and Derek Hall really have a blast because you get to get out money to local charities that certainly deserve it.
It is our favorite day of the year, a day we're certainly proud of, and this year we hit an all-time record. We have 78 organizations that came to visit us tonight because we gave away $818,000 in program grants and Grand Slam awards for this year.
And that's outstanding stuff. And a lot of the money raised, most of the money raised, took place the 2012 night on the Diamond, which was a record setter. And then the 2013 one this year was also a record setter.
It was. Last year we raised $1.6 million, and this year we raised an astonishing $1.8 million in about 4 hours. So who knows, maybe this year we'll give away $1 million.
How do local charities go about being recognized and getting money from the Diamondbacks in their fund?
So in July, the grants go online, and you can apply at dbacks.com/grants. And it's just really, really simple to apply. We had a record 350 organizations apply, and our employees, our season ticket holders, members of our board all read the grants and rate them. And then they go to the finals. They get to come in and tell their story, and there's not a dry eye in the house. We all need a box of tissue when we learn about the good work that these organizations are doing in our community.
And how special is it today when you get to put a face to the organization and hear their stories about where this money is going to go and how it's going to impact this community?
You know, Arizona's gone through a tough time with the economy, and these are the people that are doing the work. And so it's a tremendous, really an honor for us to be able to support them and to give them the money, because they're the ones that are doing the work. And when they tell us their stories, to get to meet them and shake their hands and thank them on behalf of us and our fans and our players is really why today is so very special.
Well, Debbie, you have a great job. You do a great job. Thanks for all you do. And you've got your gnome, so you're rocking the gnome. Guys, we'll send it back to you. D-backs doing great stuff in the community, certainly making an impact.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Brad and Debbie. And here we go again, Bob. Wade Miley leads off the inning with a walk. That's his 5th walk of the ball game already. And we're just starting the 3rd inning. He walked 4 in the first, and it was the first time in Diamondbacks history that a pitcher gave up 4 walks in the first inning and did not allow a run. He wiggled off the hook, left the bases loaded when he struck out Rosario. Here's Pacheco, who, like Fowler, walked his first time up. 5 walks for Wade Miley.
Obviously a big night here tonight, the Wade Miley Garden Gnome night. Big day coming up tomorrow as well. You remember Mike Remlinger, former big league pitcher, 14 years.
He was a Dartmouth guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
was an
was.
Ivy League guy.
Absolutely. Pitched for 6 different teams in his career. His company is working with the Muhammad Ali Center for Parkinson's patients, and they're having a day here at the ballpark tomorrow. Parkinson's Day at the Park.
Can they roll it? Wilson, Pennington, Goldie. Wade Miley's 2nd double play induced in this game, and that's what's gotten him out of trouble with all these walks. 2 outs in the 3rd.
You'd like to not need that kind of help from your defense, but it's good that he has it. These 4-6-3 double plays, not as easy as the Diamondbacks make it look. They got Pacheco by a wide margin at first base.
That is the 5th grounded into a double play that Miley has induced this year.
Yeah, just to finish that thought, Parkinson's Day at the Park tomorrow right here at Chase Field. Full support of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Ultimately, Mike and the Muhammad Ali Center goal is to have a day in all 30 ballparks on the same day. April is Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month, so big day here at the Yard tomorrow. Come on out. I'm looking forward to seeing Mike Remlinger again.
Carlos Gonzalez. Cargo hit into a double play his last time up. Pops up the bunt. Prado can't make the play, and Cargo beats it out. First hit of the game for the Rockies.
It's hard to tell a guy not to try to make a play on that ball, but there was so much side spin on that bunt off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez. No, I guess not. It's way out there in the infield. I thought perhaps it might spin into foul territory, but Prado does everything he can. Too much speed from Carlos Gonzalez.
Well, the Rockies have had now, counting Cargo here, 6 base runners through 2 2/3, and they still don't have a run across here. Wade is delivering some food now. Give me 2 burgers, some popcorn, and a garden gnome. Troy Tulowitzki walked his last time up. Garden gnomes are everywhere. Well, Wade Miley, as we mentioned, can settle into a rhythm and just start mowing them down after early trouble. In Milwaukee, he retired 9 straight at one point. Next start against Pittsburgh, 10 in a row after a leadoff double. At Yankee Stadium, 16 of 18. All without a hit after surrendering a leadoff single. In his last start against the Giants, 11 straight at one point.
Well, the frame of mind you have to be in out there on the mound, and this It could possibly be part of the message that Ian Kennedy was imparting to Wade Miley, is you can't control what's already happened. You can't fret over bad pitches you made. The only thing you can control is the next pitch.
In the dirt.
And of course, anytime you're out there on the mound telling yourself, I have to throw a strike, I have to throw a strike, chances are you're not going to throw a strike. Yeah, just like hitters that think too much in the batter's box, pitchers can do the same thing out there on the mound. Ideally, you just let your mind go blank, trust your muscle memory to execute the pitches you need to get hitters out.
57 pitches, 30 for strikes so far. The thing about Wade in watching this, and we've seen other guys for the Diamondbacks out there when things aren't going their way, they look or appear to be laboring. And Wade, throughout all this, with the exception of having a little moment in the dugout where he got a bit verklempt, he doesn't appear at all rattled out there on the mound. As we said, as you said, Bob, he doesn't turn the back to the catcher, and it's all business out there. Base hit to right. Gonzalez stops at second. Troy Tulowitzki continues to be a thorn in the Diamondbacks' side.
Right fielder Michael Kadire.
Very similar to the Cody Ross at bat when he tripled down into the corner against Jeff Francis. Tulowitzki just waiting on that off-speed delivery, didn't try to pull it, used that hole on the right side of the infield, putting Rockies at first and second with 2 outs.
Kadire, like most of these Rockies hitter, walked his last time up. 2 on, 2 out here. Kadire has hit in 5 straight games, 6 for 20 over that stretch, with a homer and 4 RBI. Two and 0 now.
Against this aggressive swinging Rockies team, just way too many hitters counts. You can't continually put these guys 2-0, 3-1 and expect to dance out of it all night.
Center field, A.J. Pollock. Well, Wade's still dancing out there. We'll go to the bottom of the third, 2-0 Diamondbacks. CenturyLink, your key to what's next. A.J. Pollock homered his last time up. We'll see Pollock lead off the third here.
'16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game.
A.J. Pollock leads off the Diamondbacks' third here. They lead at 2-0. One of those runs, an A.J. Pollock home run in his first at bat, his third of the year. He's back in there against Jeff Francis. AJ clobbered the Rockies in last weekend's 3-game set at Coors. He went 5 for 10 at Colorado with 2 doubles. Jeff Francis, as we know, never a hard thrower. Topped out in the very low 90s, now trying to get by with at best a low to mid 80s fastball, which means he has to be even more crafty than your stereotypical crafty lefty. Straight up in the air. Pacheco at first. Oh, wow.
One thing you'll see Francis do is change speeds on all of his pitches. He'll throw his fastball anywhere from 81 to 86. We've had one at 88 today. That's way off the charts for him, but he'll change speeds on his curveball. He'll change speeds on his changeup.
Subtract and just keep subtracting.
Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt fly to center his first time up. Well, Francis, as you mentioned, the key is the changeups from slow to even slower. And then the movement and the location on the curveball. He can actually throw 2 curveballs. There's the one big wide loopy curveball and the other one that's got a little more bite to it. But you have to have some patience in there. And as Bob mentioned, that all ties into approach when you walk in there.
Now, most big league hitters, I would say almost all big league hitters, look fastball and react to off-speed stuff. You want to be able to hit a guy's fastest pitch. Well, with Jeff Francis, I think a lot of hitters feel like he can't throw that fastball by me anyway. He's going to throw off-speed pitches half the time. Some guys go to the plate and sit on off-speed pitches.
There's a strike, 3-1. When's the last time you had some cotton candy?
I don't know, but I wish I had some right now. That looks pretty good.
What do we got? Funnel cake there? More cotton candy.
Yeah.
Now see that's the young guy that had the glove on.
Yeah.
And now, see, the problem is he's going to the cotton candy with his glove hand, and that's fundamentally unsound.
Well, he doesn't want his throwing hand to get sticky. That's what it is.
Paul Goldschmidt draws a walk. There are the popcorn guys ready to take off here. Boy, they're having a really good time at the ballpark today. Fashion statement. Yep. Boy, the cotton candy. What are we putting in the cotton candy down there? It's
very popular.
Selling like hotcakes. Maybe we should have sold hotcakes.
Hotcake flavored cotton candy.
Miguel Montero singled and scored his first time up. Miggy singled in his last at bat last night. He went 1 for 4. Singled his first time up here tonight. So encouraging sign certainly.
Pickoff attempt at first. Goldie back easily. Gary Cederstrom, the home plate umpire, one of a handful of big league umpires that features the hockey style goalie mask.
Which you were not completely sold on, if I recall, when Buster Posey caught one under there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more a case of Buster not being in a proper blocking position on that particular one. But I mentioned it before. I think when they initially came out, they were very dangerous. A lot of guys suffered concussions and got their bell rung pretty badly behind home plate. But the companies have padded them much differently. They make them out of different materials now, and I think they are a lot safer than they initially were. There's the old school.
But in terms of visually, are you able to see more out of those?
That's the guys that points, right? The guys that use it say their peripheral vision is such that they don't ever take the mask off. On pop-ups or plays at the plate, it used to be take the mask off, get rid of it. But guys that wear those hockey masks, I insist that their visibility is such that they don't have to take them off.
Well, when you get your robot umps installed, you can put little hockey masks on the top.
There you go.
Make you feel a little more at home. The eyes watching you, Brenly.
There it is. I'm all for it.
It'll be beeping. 1 beep for ball, 2 beeps for a strike, whatever. I hate that idea.
Well, that's because you've never lost a game because of a bad call.
You know what? I have no counter argument for that. I got nothing.
They're everywhere.
Sure are. You see the robot cameras agreeing.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes. I will one day control you.
Oh, my.
I have the power. I see you, Bob. 1-2 to Miguel Montero. Nice scoop there by Willeen Rosario.
It's really easy to see the range of a shortstop or a second baseman or an outfielder, but a catcher's range is so small back there behind home plate, and that time just reaches the left hand out, picks that ball that was over in the right-handed batter's box. Pretty good play.
Hey, doesn't make that play. That's another 90 feet for Goldie. Didn't miss by much. And you got to watch out for Paul Goldschmidt over there. We saw Goldie take off last night and get his first stolen base of the year.
And Francis doesn't have a real good pickoff move to first base. He will occasionally catch a runner if he's taking off on first movement, but doesn't have a great pickoff move to first.
52 pitches, 34 for strikes. There's the move.
Well, the idea is to make your pickoff move look as much like your delivery to home plate as you possibly can, and there's a big difference when Francis is going home and when he's going to first.
Three and two. Cody Ross is on deck. Cody had an RBI triple his last time up. Cody playing left field tonight. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. And that's another good sign that Miggy's getting closer. Hard to second. Rutledge spins. They got the play at second. Tulo turns it. And there's the double play. That's the inning. We'll go to the top of the 4th. Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 2-0. Opening the roof of the panels here at Chase. He is a full-service garden gnome.
Doing a little bit of everything here tonight.
That leads nicely into our AT&T Twitter poll question. What should the Wade Miley Garden Gnome do at Chase tonight? Hashtag gnome, and then either slide in the sand lot, jump in the pool. I'm voting for that one, although he's already done that, frankly. Buy a beer. I have a feeling that's going to be the one.
I got a pretty good idea which one's going to win.
Or go over to Mountainside Fitness and get a workout in. So you can tweet your gnome exercise to @FoxSportsAZ, the results later in the game, and you will see the Wade Miley Garden Gnome do his thing. Willian Rosario base hit up the middle to lead off the fourth. There's 3 singles in the last 4 batters for Colorado against Wade Miley here.
Second baseman.
I look like Wade Gnome, or Wade Gnome. Wade expected to get hit by that shot back through the box. He was already grimacing, making faces. That one just snuck through into center field. Whew. Take a deep breath.
Josh Rutledge now. He flied out his first time up. Up in the air, shallow center. A.J. Pollock coming in, and he makes a nice running grab. Rosario back to first, and you know what? That play was a lot closer than you may have thought. Great play there by A.J. Pollock.
Well, A.J.'s played enough center field in this ballpark to know how well the ball carries, so he froze initially, and then his speed allowed him to come in. Yeah, if he throws that ball right away, they might have a chance at first base.
Look how close that is. And a nice play by A.J. too, because the ball hung up there for a long time, and the roof in fact is still opening as of this moment, so there was a little adjustment there on the part of A.J. Chris Nelson. That's what we're looking like right now. Roof is open, panels open. Nice night here.
Feels like the game just started. I love that roof open.
It's amazing how quickly that thing opens and closes. One more time, Wilson, Pennington, Goldschmidt, they can't turn it, but a nice play there by Josh Wilson at second base. Just to keep that from going into center field.
That probably puts Rockies at first and third if that one sneaks through. The backhanded glove flip, the barehanded snag by Pennington. Goldie really trying to cheat off that bag at first and get a call, but just make sure you get one. The Diamondbacks do that at second base.
And it's amazing that Cliff was able to make it that close a play, because there's not a whole lot that Josh could get on that toss. Jeff Francis, the pitcher, now takes a ball. He has really played a good second base this year. And they've needed it. Francis 0 for 5 on the year with 2 strikeouts. Struck out his first time up. Wade Miley 3 strikeouts in the game, 5 walks, a career high. 4 of those walks coming in the first inning, in which he somehow came out unscathed. He's ready.
I think he's starting to fade just a little bit. Well, it's a left-handed hitter. He figures I'm not going to get a ball hit this way with a lefty up there.
He's got his scouting reports. Now there's ready, and then there's ready.
Oh, man.
They're already on the stairs. Ready. All right, I got up. You take down. Watch out for this guy. Okay. Excuse me. Pardon me, excuse me. Wade Miley, born in Hammond, Louisiana. Grew up about an hour north of New Orleans, went to Southeastern Louisiana University. First round pick by the D-backs in 2008. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up here to Jeff Francis. I will say this, on a night where you were hoping maybe to see Wade go at least into the seventh and give the bullpen a much needed breather, the pitch count's getting up there. Sip, Ziegler, Reynolds all worked here last night. Jeff Francis is having himself an at-bat up there.
Sometimes that's the best you can hope for when your pitcher is hitting. Just work a long at bat, force that opposing pitcher to throw a bunch of pitches to get you out.
This is number 10 of the AB. Martin Prado. Rockies get a hit. Wade Miley continues getting through unscathed. Will go bottom 4, 2-0 Diamondbacks. Proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And by Gila River, another proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. A shot outside of Flagstaff. Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 2-0 here. D-backs will host the Giants starting Monday. 3-game set. You can get a bleacher ticket to any of the D-backs Giants home games for only $21 with the D-backs value pack. And the value pack includes a lower level bleacher ticket, hot dog, Pepsi, free cookie from Subway restaurants, all for only $21. So call now and ask for the value pack, 602-462-4600, or buy them online right now at dbacks.com/value. That'll be a big one, Bob, Monday through Wednesday.
Big series. Anytime you're playing teams in your own division, especially the defending world champions, it's a big series.
Cody Ross, RBI triple his first time up. Foul ball. Speaking of the Giants, we just were there, obviously, and Cody was the 2010 NLCS MVP. Was booed at AT&T Park.
He was cheered initially, but then they saw he was trying to beat their team, and they quickly turned on him.
Another one over there. I think I've understood why so many players are hitting foul balls over there. That's Steve Miller, not Steve Miller, the
Joker.
Yeah, that's Steve. He's pinch hitting as a Golden Glover. Steve has been with us since 2000, the video editor.
Nice.
And that's the guy that edits all the great Diamondbacks videos you see here at Chase Field. He's responsible for all of that, and he's pinch hitting for the Golden Glovers. Although I'm not sure that the great kazoo look really suits him.
Hey, Field's over here. There you go. There you go.
That's Lon Slechta over there. He's our Golden Glover in right field, and Steve Miller holding down the fort in left. Look out, Steve! Everyone's just fine. It's hung up in a fence. That's a strikeout for Francis. Cody will get the bat back at least. And if you weren't sure, that was a strikeout swinging, not looking.
Well, just as a warning, when you come out here to Chase Field, if you're fortunate enough to get those good seats down at field level or behind the on-deck circles on either side of the field, you got to watch the ball and the bat.
So Cody strikes out, one away here in the fourth. Here's Gerardo Parra riding an 11-game hit streak. Rounded out his first time up. He's getting ahead of Diamondbacks hitters, but he's down 2-0. How about that? He's thrown all those first pitch strikes. The other guys walked 5, including 4 in the first inning, yet it's Francis who's losing 2-0.
Go figure.
If you go back and look through Gerardo Parra's game logs, you'll still find only 2 games all season in which Parra started but did not get a hit. April 8th against the Pirates, he was 0 for 4. April 13th against the Dodgers, 0 for 5. With the exception of those 2 games all year, Parra has had at least 1 hit in every game he started this year. And only 1 game all season when he didn't get on base.
It's just funny how things change over the course of a long season. All the injuries early for the Diamondbacks this year. Gerardo Parra, we're not quite sure what his game plan was going to be. Oh, so close.
That's our young man who had the glove off for the cotton candy. He's got it back on now, and he's back to the popcorn.
Yeah, I mean, there was a chance Parra was going to find himself in a platoon, possibly out in right field with Cody Ross, maybe getting some starts in center field, but everyday guy now.
2 up, 2 down in the fourth. Yeah, he said when spring training opened, I don't want to think about having 4 outfielders or playing every day. If they give me the chance, I'll play hard, and he certainly has done that.
Yes, he has.
Josh Wilson's got some interesting walk-up music. I'll find out what that is. Kind of it's sort of like a Merv Griffin kind of a thing. We're still waiting for somebody to make a play, Bob. There's all these fans here with their gloves doing a great job enjoying Diamondbacks baseball, eating the food, but somebody's got to make a play.
I think tonight could be the night. Nice crowd here. A lot of people brought their ball gloves to the park tonight.
See, he's listening to the governor over there on the radio. Greg Schulte and Tom Candiotti's got his glove. Tulowitzki, the backhander. 3 up, 3 down for the Diamondbacks in the fourth. We go top 5, 2-0 Arizona.
Really done some amazing stuff. It's a military assistance mission. They've got some wounded warriors here thanks to Sanderson Ford. Tell me what MAM is all about.
MAM is an organization that supports our Arizona military, their families, and our wounded warriors with their facing a dire financial need. Part of our program is we do morale programs, such as getting them to a baseball game, such as doing back-to-school events, or any kind of ticketed event where they can actually get away from the thought of their wounds, take some respite for a while, and heal.
And how can people get involved? Because it's a fantastic program.
It really is. They can go to our website, which is azmam.org, and we have volunteer opportunities. You can help us out there. We're publicly funded, so if you want to make a donation, but we really do love our volunteers too.
And I know that you got involved not by any way that you would have dreamt about, but your son lost his life fighting for our freedom and for America in Iraq, and that's really what started this for you.
MAM is actually named after him. It's a military assistance mission, but it's also his initials, which are Michael Adam Marzano. And we lost him almost 8 years ago in Iraq. And he really believed in the brotherhood, and he really believed in this country and patriotism. And we decided that we really needed to support what he believed in. And I can't wield a weapon, but I can definitely wield my mouth, and I can continue to support his brothers and sisters.
And when you see these brave men and women that have served our country coming here and getting a chance to take a break and enjoy a baseball game, what does that mean to you?
That means that we're actually doing the mission right. We're actually giving and doing what Michael would have wanted us to do, and we're helping to make someone's life a little easier from the hell that they have gone through.
We're so sorry for your loss, but doing remarkable things. Thanks for that.
Thank you. Thanks for supporting us.
You got it. Guys, great program. Sanderson Ford helping out. But, ma'am, it's azmam.org.
Brad, thanks very much. We encourage everyone to get involved and check that out online. Tremendous job here. Wade Miley with another walk. He's walked Dexter Fowler 3 times in 3 at-bats. Or should we say plate appearances now. That's 6 walks in the game for Miley, extending his now new career high. Jordan Pacheco has walked and hit into a double play. 6 walks, Bob, through 4+.
Just wouldn't have believed it. If you told me that this afternoon before the game started, that Wade Miley was going to walk 4 in the first and 6 through 4+ innings, I called you a liar. He just doesn't do that. It's a real good test, though. I mean, Wade Miley normally pounding that strike zone, working quickly, keeping the pitch count down. Tonight, a little different story. We'll see how he's able to compete. So far, so good. I mean, a lot of pitchers, when they struggle the way Wade did in that first inning, they just cash it in. I don't have my good stuff tonight. I'm going to get out of here quickly. It's going to be a bullpen night, but Wade trying to hang in there as best he can, give that bullpen a little bit of a night off down there.
85 pitches, 46 for strikes. No out here in the 5th. Pacheco's got a nice bat, on base 4 times last night. 2 singles, a double. He was hit by a pitch. Over his previous 5 games, 8 for 17. There goes Fowler. Hit and run is on. Drops it into right center. Fowler takes the turn and heads for third. Rockies have runners in the corners and no outs here to start the 5th.
Walt Weiss does not like to use a lot of hit and runs, but he will with Pacheco. He will with Josh Rutledge. Really eliminates any doubt on the part of the hitter. You know you're swinging at that next delivery no matter where it is, no matter what it is. That time a little soft liner over the head of Josh Wilson. Puts Rockies on the corners.
Tying runs aboard. Here's Carlos Gonzalez. Singled his last time up. Walt Weiss putting his runner in motion there.
A lot of managers like to use that hit and run, especially when a hitter at the plate has been struggling. We talked about Miguel Montero in the midst of his struggles. He said he was taking the good pitches, swinging at the bad pitches. Well, on a hit and run, it eliminates any doubt in your mind. You're swinging at that pitch.
Yeah, Pacheco 8 for 17 in his last 5 coming in. Now Cargo is struggling. He is 4 for his last 31 with 10 strikeouts.
Did bunt his way on in his last at bat back in the 3rd inning.
Although it wasn't the most gorgeous bunt you'll ever see, basically a high pop-up that kind of dropped in no man's land there. 2-0. Glenn Sherlock answering the call.
I would guess that's Brad Ziegler. We saw him indicate the sign, the hand down below his waist.
Brad, look at that. See, that's a veteran call by you right there.
Well, as if the sign itself wasn't enough. These are the situations where we usually see Brad Ziegler. When there's guys on base, you want that ground ball to try to limit the damage.
It's interesting. Brad starts warming up by kind of throwing 3/4 overhand. 2-2 to Cargo. Carlos Gonzalez last year made his first All-Star team, then fell way off. Hit only .261 in the second half last season, just 18 extra base hits after the break. Finished up at .303, 22 homers and 85 RBI.
Nice job. Not only did he hold that runner at third base, blocking that pitch in the dirt, but he held the runner at first base because he got after the ball so quickly after he blocked it. Block and recover. Check the runner, get to the ball as quickly as possible, holds both Rocky base runners.
Three and two now. Tulowitzki on deck. High up in the air, left hand side. Prado will not have a play. I tell you what, Bob, Mickey did a nice job getting out of the way, right behind that camera. Mickey, you all right?
Yeah, good. Are you ready?
Look at that. Mickey doesn't even want to keep the baseball.
Long run for Martin Prado, shading Carlos Gonzalez a little bit toward the hole between third and short, and then factor in all that foul territory. Heads up.
Mickey kind of ran for cover there. He's supposed to throw himself over the camera, isn't he? High in the air, right field. Ross coming in. Wilson backing up. Josh Wilson calls him off. Fowler bluffs at third. Runners hold. Now what comes potentially a key at bat in the game right here. It was in the 5th inning last night that Troy Tulowitzki had the biggest hit of last night's game, the 3-run double off Brandon McCarthy. 94 pitches, 52 for strikes. Ziegler warming up in the bullpen.
Well, with the pitcher spot due up second in the bottom half of the 5th inning, I think Wade Miley should go ahead and empty the tank here, whatever he's got left.
Tulowitzki walked in the first, singled in the third. Ziegler continues to throw.
It's pretty hard to beg for borderline pitches when you've been as erratic as Wade Miley has been tonight, but Gary Cederstrom not doing either pitcher any favors back there, calling a very tight zone.
Three and oh. As you can see, Tulo has been a pain in the neck. Big hits. Ball 4, bases loaded. 7th walk of the ball game issued by Wade Miley. That's 7 walks in 4 1/3.
I got a feeling Gibby's going to make the change, get that ground ball pitcher in the game. A guy that's consistently thrown strikes so far this season. That's exactly what he's going to do.
So Wade Miley will not get through the 5th here. He will leave with 1 out in the 5th inning. A 2-0 lead for the bases loaded for the Rockies, and Michael Kadire coming up. Pitching change here at Chase. We'll be back after this.
CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Jack in the Box, the Chipotle Chicken Club Combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax.
Wade Miley Garden Gnome night, an adventurous one. Wade Miley, a career high 7 walks through 4 1/3. He leaves leading 2-0, but turns the bases loaded with 1 out over to Brad Ziegler. And if the Diamondbacks ever needed a ground ball, they need it here.
Ziegler pitched a clean 8th inning in the ball game last night and got 3 ground ball outs.
He pitched all 3 games in the series against the Giants in San Francisco. Had that 1-2-3 8th here last night. Threw 10 pitches. Fowler's on 3rd, Pacheco on 2nd, and Tulowitzki on 1st. Pennington at short. Wilson, can they roll it? Nice pick by Goldie, and there's the double play. Brad Ziegler comes in and puts out the fire. We'll go bottom 5. It's still 2-0 D-backs. Pulls a double play ball.
Throwing that heavy sinking fastball. A couple of glove guys up the middle of the field have been busy tonight. Cliff Pennington, Josh Wilson turned their third double play of the game. Wade Miley, 4 hits, 7 walks in 4 1/3, and escapes without giving up a run.
Breaking news. Look who's got a bat. This is going to be fun. He had 3 one-pitch appearances already this season, the most in the major leagues. That was a 2-pitch outing as Cliff Pennington leads it off. And Ziegler now leads the major leagues with 16 appearances this year. He is a legitimate weapon back there in exactly those high leverage situations. And that's, boy, this bullpen, everybody's got a role. Meanwhile, Francis has retired 7 of the last 8 he's faced. The last hit Francis gave up was Josh Wilson's single to lead off the second. Since then, he's been pretty good. Three and 2. And here's something you don't hear often. Brad Ziegler is on deck. Brad's father's going to be just killing me on the Twitter. Did the governor drop that one? Candiotti.
It was kind of between Candy and Jeff Munn, and neither one of them made much of an effort.
No, that's hard. That's hardly surprising. Look at Candy.
3 balls and 2 strikes.
There's Jeff Munn on the call. Candy rarely only moves if there's food involved. That's generally what it takes.
Well, that one a little further over in the press box. We know the writers can't catch anything.
There it is.
They were all ducking under the table over there.
The esteemed members of the Fourth Estate. Tulowitzki. Boy, he made that look easy. All right, brace yourselves, America. Brad Ziegler is up there with a bat in his hands. I got this at 1 for 4 career.
250 lifetime, not bad.
All right, so.
One thing we know, the Rockies don't have a book on him.
Now, I would think he would take a fair amount of grief from his bullpen mates, regardless of the outcome of this. Even if he hits a home run, they'll find something to make fun of him about.
They're just all jealous.
You know they are, too.
Yeah, they want the at-bat.
And I think what helps in this situation, Bob, is that Brad has been so efficient in all these outings. He rarely throws even double-digit pitches every time he's out there, that he can get that critical double play ball and then pick up part of at least part of the next inning, which is why he's hitting here. Second base, Rutledge. 2 down. Well, if you or someone you love would like to call a game and they're between the ages of 10 through 14, then come out tomorrow, Chase Field, for the Fox Sports Arizona and Sanderson Ford Kid Caster auditions. They start at 11:30 at the Sandlot. That's during the Rockies D-backs game here tomorrow, and we'll have the auditions 11:30 in the morning. Go over to the Sandlot, and one lucky winner will be up here with Bob Brenly doing play-by-play. There's the Sandlot. That's where you go.
I don't know if you call that person lucky, but they get to come up here.
And we will have them do it. This is not a political appointment. You will be doing work. Martin Prado. Oh, how about this? We had the outdoor street festival outside Chase. A little fishing in the pool. Or in the cement pond, perhaps. In the words of Jethro Bodine.
Jethro Bodine. Oh, Beverly Hillbillies reference. I like it.
Prado 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. Batting leadoff tonight. In the air, right center. Backing up is Kadire. And he's there. Jeff Francis cruising along here. We're through 5. 2-0 Arizona. Pepsi grab and go concession stand outside section 104. Look for the QR and scan for your chance to win great prizes and find all your favorite Pepsi products at the grab and go. See, literally, that guy's grabbing, and what's he doing? He's going. Not a long wait there. Got to get you on the move. Hey, I got to grab a drink right now. I got to get back to my seat. Grab and go. Brad Ziegler back out there to start the 6th. Rosario, Rutledge, and Nelson. 6, 7, and 8 here in the Colorado 6th. Jeff Francis has really settled down nicely for the Rockies. He's retired 10 of the last 11 he's faced and kept it a 2-0 game. Rosario singled his last time up. Hard to left. Looking up. Ross, it's gone. Willeen Rosario, a home run, cuts the Diamondbacks lead in half. It's a 2-1 ball game.
That was a fast homer.
It got out in a hurry.
Boy, we've talked a lot about Rosario both at Coors Field last week and here in this series. This kid can really, really hit. That ball down around the knees, still managed to get under it enough, hit that line drive to left field. Cody Ross barely moved out there.
All right, come on, Leo.
Got out of here in 3.9 seconds. Rutledge, he's 0 for 2. Rosario, 28 home runs, the most ever by a Colorado rookie last year. That was his 6th home run this season. Montero wants it.
Not an easy play for Miggy coming out from behind home plate, but as I mentioned the other day, you would always rather have one of your position players or your catcher handle the ball rather than the pitcher. Back pivot and a strong throw on to Goldie for the out at first base.
Chris Nelson. Pennington back on the grass at short. Adam Ottavino is warming in the Colorado bullpen, and we will have a pinch hitter here for the Rockies. Ryan Wheeler will get a chance now. So that's it for Jeff Francis, who retired 10 of the last 11 he faced. There's Ottavino. Last hit given up by Francis was Josh Wilson's single that led off the second inning. So stepping in now is Ryan Wheeler, making his Rockies debut in this series. The former Diamondback making it here at Chase Field. I think all in all, Bob, the way that Francis has been struggling lately in his last 3 starts, got to look at tonight and feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I think it was a step in the right direction for the lefty, and Walt Weiss has to be ecstatic with what he got from Francis tonight after his previous outings this season.
Yeah, he went 6 innings in his first start this year. Lasted 1 2/3 in his next start against the Giants, and then couldn't get past 4 1/3 in either of his next 2 starts. Pitched last Tuesday, lasted only 4 innings against the Braves. Gave up 3 homers. Right field, Parra. Brad Ziegler has given up 3 earned runs this season, 2 of them coming on home runs. Rosario makes it a 2-1 game. CenturyLink, your link to what's up next. A.J. Pollock, he's homered for the Diamondbacks tonight. Pollock, Goldie, and Montero when we come back. Auction Alley, a chance to bid on one of the Jackie Robinson shirts. The Diamondbacks wore at Yankee Stadium. There's a Wade Miley garden. Well, the gnome is everywhere.
Everywhere.
Really.
It's everywhere.
All kinds of items down there at Auction Alley. So go down to Auction Alley here at Chase Field and put in your bid. A.J. Pollock homered in the first. Adam Ottavino on the mound for the Rockies.
Number 0. Adam Ottavino, fastball slider. A little bit of an adjustment now for the Diamondbacks offensively because Ottavino throws his fastball in the low to mid 90s. Got away with a hanging slider right there. AJ's eyes lit up when he saw that breaking ball up there above the belt. Just missed it.
AJ had 2 hits in each of the last 2 games of the series against the Rockies at Coors, but since then he's gone just 2 for his last 20, one of which was the home run earlier. Had a big series against the Rockies at Coors, 5 for 10. Third base, Nelson off the glove. Tulo is there, and AJ beats it out. Little ping ball by the Rockies infield.
Well, normally you wouldn't worry about legging that out for an infield hit, but with Troy Tulowitzki's arm, he plays this deflection and fires a rocket across the infield on the move. Only the speed of A.J. Pollock allowed that to be an infield base hit. Look how quickly he got rid of that ball.
Boy, he's a good player. Man, he is special. So the leadoff man on here for the Diamondbacks, and here's Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie is flying out and walked. Goldie swinging a hot bat lately. Came in .306 over his last 13 games with 3 homers and 9 RBIs. He's also walked 6 times over that span, which is a great sign for a guy with this much power. He can be patient as well. Take his walks. Get on base.
I think Goldie's probably one of the Diamondbacks hitters that's glad to see Jeff Francis out of the ball game. It was pretty clear Jeff Francis was not going to make any kind of mistake from the middle of the plate in where Goldie could really do some damage. Hit a ball hard to center field his first time up, and then Francis basically pitched around him in his second at bat, drew a base on balls.
There's a strike. Among National League first basemen, Paul Goldschmidt has been elite. Oh, 0-2 now. Each team with 5 hits in the game. The Rockies, with all these walks, 7 issued by Wade Miley, have stranded 8 tonight.
We talked a lot about Rosario and his offensive skills. He's worked extremely hard on his defense. Last year, this was a ball he would have just reached across, tried to backhand out of the dirt. Shifts his body nicely that time and blocks that breaking ball, keeps it in front.
Well, the issue with Rosario has been his defense. Last season, 21 passed balls and 13 errors. Pollock off first. Struck him out, 1 away here in the 6th.
Ottavino throws that slider almost as often as he throws his fastball, and he's got a good one. Hard, sharp, late break. Occasionally he'll wrap it and make it a little bit of a bigger breaking ball, but that was the sharp one there to strike out Paul Goldschmidt.
Let's go Miguel Montero. He has singled and scored and hit into a double play. Counting tonight, Miguel has hit in 4 of his last 5 games. He was 1 for 4 last night.
AJ could probably get another full step on his lead over there at first base as you get a look at Heath Bell warming up in the D-backs bullpen.
His turnaround story continues. He's looked good lately. Diamondbacks got 2 in the first, a Pollock home run, a Cody Ross RBI triple. Willeen Rosario homered off Brad Ziegler to start the 6th. 2-1 Diamondbacks. Center field, Fowler gets chase. And he makes a tremendous diving catch. Pollock back to first, Dexter Fowler in center field. And once again, Miguel Montero just bitten by the defense of the other team. That's a great play.
A really good play. Dexter Fowler covers as much ground as any center fielder in baseball. He has to at Coors Field. Those spacious gaps. Oh, what a nice running catch. I know the pitcher appreciates that.
That's in the gap, and that's a run.
Oh, yeah, with Pollock's speed, he probably scores easily on that ball if it gets in the gap.
Yep, absolutely. That's a... You know, and if you're Miggy, you're looking at an RBI double and your second hit of the game. Instead, it's just a fly ball to center field in the scorecard. Cody Ross, RBI triple back in the first. The Wade Miley gnome
made a friend.
Yep.
Walt Weiss stealing a page out of the Kirk Gibson playbook.
Throw over and throw over again.
Hold the ball on the mound, vary your release point to home plate or your rhythm to home plate.
Second base, Rutledge is there on the grass. Leadoff single goes for naught for the Diamondbacks. We're through 6. It's a 2-1 ball game here at Chase.
Ill-fitting suits and a night of awkward romantic gestures. Well, I'm here with a group of Horizon High School students who decided to forego their senior prom to get a Wade Miley garden gnome and hang out at a ball game. This is Michael. Michael, how did this idea start?
Basically, we came to a spring training game, one of the last ones here, that was here in the stadium, and we saw that the Wade Miley Garden Gnome Day was going on. So we thought...
the same night of your prom.
It was the same night as our prom, yeah. So, you know, we started out as a joke, just wanted to go, and then, like, the more and more that we talked about it, it just ended up happening. So,
who is your date here?
Right here, this is Leah.
Now, you have a great sign. If you could hold that up. And I'm going to have you guys stand up because you're looking very dapper tonight. You guys could all stand up. The class of 2013 at Horizon High School. And, you know, rock the signs here. Now, their prom is downtown at the Arizona Science Center. So is there a chance you guys could pull a doubleheader and get the game and the prom in?
If we got tickets, there would be a chance.
So you guys just didn't buy tickets. You're not boycotting. You guys are not on detention or anything, right? Your grades are good. You're not prohibited from being at the prom.
Yeah, just not going.
And now, where's your date? We could get you maybe a rally back.
Let's do it. Can we do that?
I just didn't get one in time.
Well, dude, go to a ball game now. And you guys are looking great. The tie and the dress match. That's a nice ensemble. Who are you wearing tonight?
What do you mean, who?
The designer.
It's
kind of a red carpet thing.
It's from Rita Lee on Etsy.
Wow. And sir, you're looking dapper. Who makes your suit there?
Men's Warehouse.
Very well done. So, the class of 2013, they're going to blow up the prom and take in a ball game. Guys, back to you. That's D-backs dedication. Well done, guys.
Nice work. Who are you wearing? Men's Warehouse.
I would suggest those guys hang on to those girls. If they'll skip prom to come to a ball game, you better hang on to them.
Yeah, marry that one. Dexter Fowler, a leadoff double against Heath Bell. Fowler on base for the 4th time tonight. 3 walks and a double.
Aggressive turn there to turn that into his 4th double of the season. Gerardo Parra with that strong throw just a little bit offline. Otherwise, they get Fowler at second base.
So the tying run in scoring position now, and here's Jordan Pacheco, singled his last time up. And it's one thing, Bob, to not go to your senior prom and go to a ball game instead. Frankly, I admire that. But poor dude in the middle couldn't get a date, and now he's on TV.
Yeah, but he looks good.
Mean, sometimes you just got to wear it, right?
So Brad just beating him up over there.
Yeah. Kind of looks like John Cusack, doesn't he? The actor.
Maybe he thought he was going to get a date at the ball.
See, there you go. Chase Field. He can take care of that for you.
Pacheco doing his best Martin Prado impersonation here, trying to shoot that ball to the right side.
Heath Bell has looked better every time he's been out there since his D-backs debut against St. Louis April 2nd, when he gave up 4 hits, including 2 long home runs here in 1/3 of an inning. He has looked more and more like what Kevin Towers had faith he would be. And that's a highly effective setup man who attacks the strike zone. He's given up just 1 run while striking out 13 over his last 7 appearances. Goldie. They get the out at first, Fowler to third.
Nice job by Jordan Pacheco to move that ball to the right side of the field. Even better play by Paul Goldschmidt, keeping that one out of right field. That's an RBI base hit if it gets through. Knocks it down. Heath Bell shuffles his feet, gets on the bag before Pacheco for the out.
Tying run 90 feet away. 1 out, and here's Carlos Gonzalez. He is 1 for 3, singled in the 3rd.
Boy, Cargo throughout this series been chasing a lot of high fastballs, especially those ones on the inside part of the plate up above the belt.
Infield in on the edge of the grass here. Kirk Gibson likes Heath Bell's confidence. Gibby said that when Heath had his little blip out there, as Gibby called it, he went and looked at some film, figured some things out. Gibby said part of what they saw with Heath was that he was throwing the ball well, but wasn't making his pitches the way he normally might. So they thought maybe it's a confidence thing. And it helped that Heath is now more relaxed out there. and as Gibby says, believes in certain things out there. And that's something that he likely never had when he was with the Marlins. And Heath has said part of what's helped him is the way all the D-back staff here helped him work through his problems, in large part by simply listening to him. And he said they listened to what he had to say, the way he felt about things. They didn't simply tell him what to do or not to do or speak in absolutes. Cody Ross. Prado will take it at third. Fowler a bluff. Cody started in. Prado backing up. 2 down.
Well, that time Heath Bell just beat him with a fastball. Pounded that ball in there. Cargo with the little soft floater. Martin Prado able to retreat. He was playing way in. They were looking to cut off that runner at home plate. Had a lot of ground to cover that time from his third base position.
And once again, here's Troy Tulowitzki up in a big spot with a chance to do some damage. Fowler the tying run at third. 2 outs here in the 7th. Tulo has been on base 3 times tonight. He's singled in the 3rd and he's walked twice. Boy's made several spectacular defensive plays. He's been on base all night long. He's had a big series with timely hits. It's just day at the office.
Historically, this has been a good matchup for Heath Bell against Troy Tulowitzki. Not many guys can say that. 1 for 18 with 3 punch-outs.
Base hit. Tulowitzki ties it up. He'll head for second. He wants 2. And they get him at second. That ends the inning, but Tulowitzki drives home the tying run. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. It's a 2-2 ball game. Times at the Ram Trucks pool. It's a great place to watch a game, so get out there and visit the RamTrucks.com pool area. Joe Borowski with us here in the booth. It's 7 walks.
Unbelievable.
I mean, have you ever?
He equaled his total for the year in that one outing. And for me, I think the first inning, it seemed like it was getting to him a little mentally. He started trying to feel and just trying to place it in there. But he was really fighting himself tonight. He was really pulling that fastball across his body. And it just seemed like it wasn't coming off his fingertips free and easy like you've seen it so many times in his past starts.
Yeah, we saw Miguel Montero almost turn his glove upside down, chasing some of those fastballs inside to right-handed hitters. And that's not normally Wade Miley's game.
Gerardo Parra has an 11-game hit streak, but he's 0 for 2 so far.
Have you ever had a day like that, Joe, where you just couldn't get the ball where you wanted?
One too many. No, it's tough out there because you're going out there and you're trying to figure out what you can do to get yourself right again. But you have to give him a lot of credit of lasting 5 innings, first off.
Base hit. It's up to 12. Gerardo Parra has now hit safely in 12 straight games, extending his career high and National League lead.
And to keep the Colorado Rockies off the board, no less, is a remarkable feat.
Yeah, this is a team, the Rockies, that are very accustomed to scoring runs in bunches. They got a lot of thunder up and down this lineup, a lot of very aggressive hitters, and in fact, he was able to pitch around 7 walks in 4 1/3. Speaks to how good he was when he was in the strike zone.
Colorado bullpen is busy now. Rex Brothers. We saw Rex Brothers last night through 22 pitches for Colorado. He worked the 8th. All right, you got the go-ahead run on first. Nobody out in the bottom of the order coming up. Wilson, Pennington in the pitcher's spot. How do you guys want to play this?
Well, we know we're going to get a pinch hitter for the pitcher spot. I got a feeling we're going to see a sac bunt. Although Gibby doesn't like to give up outs. He just doesn't. I think maybe if the pitcher was going to hit in the 9 spot, you'd see Josh Wilson and Cliff Pennington swing away. But because you're 99% sure you're going to get a pinch hitter, you want to try to get that runner into scoring position.
Bob, let me ask you a question. As a former manager in this situation, how do you play this? At home, are you going for the sacrifice bunt here, or on the road, is it different? Do you go for a hit and run? Do you just play straight up? How do you do it?
I think it really depends on the personnel. You know, if Josh Wilson was swinging a hot bat right now, if he was an adept hitter at hitting behind the runner, maybe you play hit and run instead of putting down a sac bunt. Like I said, I know Gibby doesn't like to give up outs, but I think it really just depended on the personnel that you had in play at that particular time. Who's the runner at first? Who's the hitter at the plate? Who's on deck? Who's in the hole? Where are you at with your pitching staff at this point in the ball game? Are you going to go to the bullpen? Are you going to bring Heath Bell back out for another inning of work? You see Alfredo Marte grabbing a helmet and a bat.
Does the fact that the Diamondbacks have been having a tough time of late scoring runs play a factor in it too?
Oh, sure, that enters into it. It's a long, complicated formula.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of things enter into it, and Gibby doesn't do anything lightly. I'm sure he's really looked at this from every possible angle, and he feels this is the best approach. See Eric Hinsky getting his batting gloves ready as well.
Yeah, it's a constant discussion over there. He's got Marte and Hinsky standing by the righty and the lefty. Wilson can't get the bunt down, and he strikes out.
Also the ability of the hitter to get a bunt down. Sometimes Wilson really having issues trying to bunt that Adam Ottavino slider.
So here's Cliff Pennington now. He has struck out and grounded out, 0 for 2 and 1 for his last 27. But now Hinsky is the one who comes out on deck.
I don't think there's any way in the world Eric Hinsky's going to get an at bat against a right-handed pitcher. It just isn't going to happen at this stage of the ball game.
So you're forcing him to make the move to Brothers here by putting Hinsky out there?
I think that's exactly what Gibby's doing, and then would obviously counter with Marte. At least I assume he would counter with Marte against the left-handed pitcher. Sometimes you have to burn your players on the bench to get a matchup you're looking for.
Diamondbacks 4 and 2 in their last 6. And no one running away and hiding by any stretch in this division so far. Gets away from Rosario, and Parra moves up to second. Takes the turn. Gerardo Parra heads for third. And he's in there. Gerardo Parra. Well, that worked out just fine. He is lightning fast.
Well, the thing you love about Parra is he never assumes that he's only going to advance 90 feet. That ball's in the dirt. He's going hard to second base to give himself an opportunity to go to third. So many guys would just be content to jog to second base. I'm in scoring position, but not Gerardo Parra.
Now, what's this conversation about, Bob, on the mound?
Well, they're definitely going to have to play the infield in here. They can't afford to give up any more runs.
The Gnome.
The Gnome sees all.
Gerardo Parra showing a tremendous amount of want right there. There is the infield. 1-2 to Pennington. Go ahead run 90 feet away with 1 out. Struck him out. So we'll see how they play this now. Eric Hinske. Now you have to wait for the announcement, right? Here it is. Okay, so he's been announced as the hitter.
Another factor is how much confidence does Walt Weiss have in his right-hander, and I think we've got the answer to that.
Here comes, he's on signal with the left arm there, so he'll go to Brothers, and that's it for Ottavino. Now Hinske walks back to the dugout. Alfredo Marte, there you go. So Marte comes out, Ottavino leaves, Brothers enters. Go ahead, run 90 feet away. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this. The 7th, and he is our APS Energy All-Star. Gerardo Parra extends his hit streak to 12 games and then goes first to third on a wild pitch, and that is want.
Energy All-Star seems highly appropriate anytime you talk about Gerardo Parra.
And you said it, Bob. He's always ready to take that extra base. He's always aware of where the ball is. It's not a matter of just jogging in and pulling in a second. Happy to have that. He's always ready to go one more. So here's Marte now. Alfredo had a big night here last night against the Rockies. Started in left field. Couple of hits, single, double, and an RBI. 3 for his last 8 up there. Rex Brothers on the mound for the Rockies. We saw Brothers here last night. He worked the 8th and threw 22 pitches. Joe, how hard is it in this situation if you're brothers? It's 2-2, 7th inning, and you know that go-ahead run is right over there at third, and you got to be really careful about putting something in the dirt. I mean, that's got to be difficult.
And you see what he's doing. Brothers is trying to attack him with sliders down and in on his back foot. But now he's got to be careful. Now he's in a hitter's count 2-0. He can't just throw something over the plate.
3-0.
He also realizes, you do have an open base, so you're not just going to give in to the hitter right here. He'll take his chances with the on-deck hitter. He's not going to give him just something that he can just drive right here. So look for something either off speed or something off the plate.
Troy Tulowitzki, as he so often does, going out to have his own conference with brothers. Now he's back in his position. Here's the 3-0. In the dirt. Parra will hold there, and Marte will take first.
Boy, nice patient at bat by the youngster Alfredo Marte. Would have been very easy to swing at some of those pitches in the dirt, trying to drive that runner in from third base, but takes the 4-pitch walk, setting it up for Martin Prado with 2 outs in the inning.
Prado in the leadoff spot tonight. He's 0 for 3. And he is 8 for his last 58. Parra the go-ahead run at third. Marte on first. There's the strike, 0-1. He's had just about everything. Cotton candy, popcorn. Now we're working on the ice cream.
He's had his issues behind the plate, but you can't block it much better than Willen Rosario did right there. That's a breaking ball that hits out in front of the plate. Watch where this ball hits his chest protector. Right in the heart. Drops straight down on home plate. Perfect.
And I liked how you put it before, block and recover.
Well, especially in this situation, had Marte broken for second base, Rosario's got to decide whether it's worth the shot to try to throw him out at second and end the inning, or risk a bad throw and maybe let Parra sneak down that line at third.
Right center, will it get down? Kadire is there. Diamondbacks get 2 aboard. They strand 2. We're through 7. We're 2-2. Joe, thanks very much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Starting Monday, and you can save $20 on your ticket. All you have to do is follow @DBacks on the Twitter or like D-Backs on Facebook, and when you do, you'll learn how you can save $20 on every ticket you buy for the D-Backs Giant Series coming up beginning on Monday. $20 for every seat. All you have to do is follow @DBacks on Twitter or like D-Backs on Facebook. $20 a seat off.
Oh, you can't beat it.
What a deal that is. Here's David Hernandez. He'll work the 8th. We've seen Ziegler, Bell, and Hernandez. D-backs had their chance there in the 7th. Couldn't get that run in, and now they'll turn it over to David Hernandez to face Kadire, Rosario, and Rutledge here in the 8th. Michael Kadire is 0 for 2. He walked back in the 1st.
A little bit of a rough go lately for David. Just hasn't been able to locate his pitches as consistently as he's been able to do in the past.
And he's behind here, 3-0. There's a strike, 3-1. One thing about the bullpen and the use, Bob, we've seen with Gibby is when a guy has a rough outing or blows a save or a lead or a hold, Gibby goes right back to him. Base hit into right. Leadoff man on for the Rockies here in the 8th.
Probably see a pinch runner here. I would imagine Eric Young. I would think so. This late in a tie ball game, Young could easily fill in right field for Kadire.
Yeah, I mean that would seem to make sense, but so we're going to stick with Kadire to this point, it looks like. Willeen Rosario, 2 for 3, single and a home run. He homered his last time up. Nothing from the Rocky dugout, so Kadire stays at first. Rosario is 8 for 22 over his last 6 games, including tonight.
We don't always know exactly what's going on with the visiting team over there in that first base dugout. They may have some nagging injury issues. Walt Weiss may have in his mind he wants to use Eric Young Jr. as a pinch hitter for that pitcher spot if we get down there. But on the surface, it would certainly seem to be the easy move to make. Eric Young with a bat right there, just getting loose just in case.
EY Jr. started in right field in the series opener here. Went 2 for 5, a single and a double. Did not play yesterday. Base hit into left. Kadire stops at second, first to a board against Hernandez here in the 8th.
Second baseman Josh Rutledge.
And even the change, Bob, with Young and Kadire, I mean, that's probably what you want defensively anyway at this point in the game.
You would think so, especially if the Rockies should happen to take the lead here in the 8th inning. You want to put your best defense on the field.
Unless you think you're going to go 13, 14 innings and you want Kadire to get some more EPs.
Now Josh Rutledge at the plate has put down 2 sacrifice bunts this season. We'll see how Walt Weiss chooses to play it here. Rutledge 0 for 3 on the night. Showing bunt early.
Ooh. That's second, and they have Kadire hung up. Pennington applies the tag. Now there goes Rosario into second. So they get the out, but the go-ahead run moves into scoring position. Kadire was hung up in no man's land there.
But fortunately, David Hernandez was able to get down and get underneath this pickoff throw from Miguel Montero right at his head. On a hop to Cliff Pennington. He's going to be able to easily run Kadire down. Unfortunately, as everybody was lining up for that rundown and the bunt defense play, there's nobody at second base. You see A.J. Pollock sprinting in from center field to try to get to the bag, but unfortunately, Rosario able to move up into scoring position. Boy, what a play by Miggy. I mean, you can understand what Kadire's thinking out there at second base. He saw the location of that slider way over in that left-handed batter's box and thought it was going to go to the backstop. Miggy was able to reach across, pick it cleanly out of the dirt, and fire to second base.
Right field, Parra coming in. And they have Rosario doubled off. What are the Rockies doing on the bases here? I mean, that is two horrific base running plays by Colorado, and they run themselves right out of the inning. Gerardo Parra, there's the second out, and there's the third. We'll go bottom 8, somehow still tied. Wow. Of the game, I don't know if they're cool plays or bonehead plays.
I think a little of both. Heads up defensive plays by the Diamondbacks, a pickoff by Miguel Montero at second base. And then Gerardo Parra on what appeared to be a routine ball to right field. I don't know where Willeen Rosario was going on that. Perhaps forgot how many outs there were in the inning, but whatever, turns it into an easy inning-ending double play.
New pitcher for the Rockies, Wilton Lopez is on. We saw him in the series opener on Thursday night. He worked the 8th inning and threw 13 pitches.
Gave up a leadoff hit to Gerardo Parra and then got 3 quick outs to end the evening. Fastball changeup combination. He does throw an occasional slider, but you're going to see a lot of heaters, a lot of changeups.
Pollock, Goldschmidt, and Montero 2, 3, and 4. AJ is 2 for 3. He singled in the 6th, homered back in the 1st. Home run is 3rd of the year. I think Rosario just lost track of the outs.
I'm not sure what was going on there. It didn't look like he was running hard. Maybe he ran halfway, and his third base coach, Stu Cole, started screaming at him to get back to the base. But
I bet he did at one point. Wow.
Should have run Eric Young.
I believe that was mentioned.
Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20. You know, you think about it, and then you have your reasons why you don't do certain things or why you do other things, and when they come back to bite you like that, you second guess yourself.
Well, I don't think you anticipate a veteran like Michael Kadire getting caught off guard like that.
Yeah, boy, it looked like home plate umpire Gary Cedarstrom took a shot off the right arm, maybe the right hand. Oh, actually got him up on the bicep. The way he reacted, I thought it got him in the hand.
That'll be purple tomorrow. 2-2 to AJ. 3-2 now. Kadire and Rosario. Want.
I don't know whether it's want or need. I think Gerardo Parra needs to play at that high level all the time. Whatever it is, I like it a lot.
Certain guys play with a little thing we call want.
Yep.
And he has it. And it's a very much an intangible. Too low, 1 away. Hey, let's update the AT&T Twitter poll. What should the Wade Miley Garden Gnome do at Chase Field tonight? And in a less than surprising results, 74% say beer. And he's had a busy night. He went down the slide.
There he goes.
He was in the pool, and now he's having a cool, refreshing beverage here at Chase Field, and then got a little workout in over at Mountainside Fitness. The Wade Miley Garden Gnome is
everywhere.
Smashing success here.
Everywhere.
Wade had a career high 7 walks. That may take care of the whole Garden Gnome thing for a while. Career high 7 walks, and miraculously did not give up a run while he was in there. Goldie 0 for 2, walked back in the third.
You know what, Steve? Wilton Lopez has yet to give up a home run this year.
Paul Goldschmidt, home run coming in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, we gave it a shot. I like little volleyball here. You just set, you put the forearms together, you just sort of loft it up in the air and just come through with a spike. Hey, this is a great deal. The Fox Sports Arizona Fan Express. It's brought to you by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores. It's back and ready to take you to a D-backs game. You can stop by this month's participating Gilbert Cox retail store or Fry's Food Store in Prescott Valley and enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. Now what you do is they pick you up. You get round-trip transportation to the game May 25th or 26th. Registration ends May 13th, so don't wait. Visit foxsportsarizona.com. Pick you up on the bus, take you to the game, drive you back. Great deal.
Nice. You get a little bit of a feel of what it's like to be a visiting team, jumping on the bus at the hotel to come to the ballpark.
Look, that poor guy didn't have a prom date, and now he's front and center. Yeah, why didn't the prom guys get on the bus? That would have been a good deal, right? Usually you got to go with the limo, right? If you're going to impress the young ladies. Can't show up with a big bus. You got to have a limo.
Yeah, that prom has turned into a big bucks evening. You have to have a dress for the prom and then a dress for the after party.
Corsage. 3-2 to Goldie. Do you remember your prom?
Vaguely. Yeah, it was a long time ago. But yeah, I do remember it.
Where was that?
Coshocton High School. Yeah. It all took place at the school itself. Everybody got in. They locked the door so we couldn't get out. Had a movie after the prom.
Now, who was the lucky young lady?
My wife.
Joan?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been dating since we were freshmen in high school. We're still dating.
Goldschmidt to left. Base hit.
Good battling at bat by Goldie. No stride whatsoever. He even makes adjustments with 2 strikes. Shortens up a little bit. Still drives that bat through the hitting zone, but eliminates a lot of the lower body movement, so his hands are quicker through the zone.
Jim Wright wants to have a conversation with both Rosario and Lopez here. Miguel Montero is up. Miggy singled and scored in the first. Hit into a double play in the third. Then back in the sixth, he had a shot to the gap in right center that Dexter Fowler made a spectacular diving catch on. This was an RBI double, and it would have given the Diamondbacks the lead.
And Fowler was shading a few steps over into the gap in the left center, which makes that catch all the more amazing. The amount of ground that he covered to get there for that diving attempt.
So Miggy should be up there right now with 2 hits. Instead, it's a 1 for 3 with a run scored. Career numbers against Wilton Lopez. Montero has hit in 4 of his last 5 games. The 1 hit off Lopez is a home run. 203 on the year. One and one.
I think the Rockies would like to pitch around Montero in this situation. Cody Ross in the on-deck circles 0 for 6 lifetime with 3 strikeouts against Wilton Lopez, but of course that would force the potential winning run into scoring position.
Left field, Cargo. Goldie back to first, 2 down in the 8th. He's hit the ball well tonight.
Yeah, I'll tell you, a huge step in the right direction for Miguel Montero tonight, even though he only has the single back in the first inning, and that was an infield single. Little ground ball up the middle of the field. But his swings have been much better. He's hit the ball on the barrel more consistently. Just misses driving this one out of here to left field.
Cody Ross, RBI triple in the first. Struck out in the 4th, grounded out in the 6th. 1 for 3. Straight up in the air. Rosario will give it a look. 0-1. Cody 1 for 4 in the series opener here Thursday night. He did not start last night. Did come in as a pinch hitter in the 7th and flied out. Fouled, 0-2.
Rockies outfielders playing at no doubles, which means extremely deep. Michael Kadire just a step or 2 off the warning track in right. Cargo deep in left, Fowler deep in center.
Kadire backs up anymore, he's going to be in the pool. Clutch. It's a word that drives sabermetric people nuts, but there it is. Third base, Nelson. Long throw. Diamondbacks get another chance. Can't get the run across. They get a hit. They leave one. We're through 8. Dexter Fowler coming up here as we go to the 9th. Top Season 11 produced one of its most amazing final tables. You can tune into this week's episode of the WPT Bortaga Poker Open presented by ClubWPT.com to see which 6 players battle through a field of 1,181 entrants to get to the final table. 2-2 here in the 9th. David Hernandez back out there, and they listen, Bob.
They just didn't listen fast enough.
Now, you had the leadoff guy on already in the previous inning. So Ely Jr. will hit for Nelson here. Pitcher spot is up next. Brignac is on deck. So we've seen tonight Brad Ziegler extend an inning and go more than one after he got a quick double play ball to win the 5th. And now David Hernandez back out there for a second inning of work. Prado well in on the grass at third. 1-2 now.
Sending David Hernandez out there for a second inning might not even have been a possibility had it not been for Josh Coleman eating up 3 innings in relief of Trevor Cahill in that game. It looked like they were going to have to use a whole can of bullpen in that game, but Josh Coleman came in and righted the ship for 3 innings, allowing Kirk Gibson to save some of his other arms down there.
That was the series opener when Trevor Cahill needed 105 pitches just to somehow get through 5. Coleman came in, worked 3 full, 43 pitches, 30 for strikes. And with the exception of J.J. Putz, gave the bullpen the night off. And they needed it because last night we saw Sipp, Ziegler, and Reynolds. Tonight, Ziegler, Bell, and now Hernandez for a second inning. This is a tired bullpen going into this homestand. And now it may be headed for extra innings here. 3-2 to Eric Young Jr. Reed Brignac is on deck.
Only 3 walks on the season and 65 at bats for Eric Young Jr. Get it close.
Base hit. Oh no, right to Goldie. There he is. That looked like it was going to loop between them. They played him in the right spot.
Jammed him just enough. Little soft liner off the fists. Goldie was prepared to jump. The ball just didn't go anywhere.
It did. He was ready to jump too. It did look like it was going to go well over his head. So here's Reed Brignac with one out in the ninth. He'll pinch hit for the pitcher spot here. Matt Belisle and Rafael Betancourt. We saw both those guys here last night. Betancourt got the save, his 8th of the year.
I would assume we'll see Belisle if the score is still 2-2 and the Rockies should happen to find a way to take a lead. You'll see their closer Betancourt.
Brignac, as he saw, good numbers against Hernandez, 4 for 5 with a couple of home runs. That was the home run swing.
Brignac 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter this year. Rockies haven't had a lot of success with their guys coming off the bench this season, with the exception of Todd Helton, who pinch hit a 2-run homer.
And Helton's on the DL right now with a forearm issue. There's Todd. And there's, you can see, the cast on the forearm.
Smooth.
Juan Slechta, our Golden Glover, down the right field line tonight. He's a rookie Golden Glover, so it's a big play for him. Got him. Ring him up, sit him down. 2 outs in the ninth.
Miguel wanted that fastball up. You see him coming up out of his crouch, has to reach back and to his left. That pitch was off the plate away. Diamondbacks got a huge call right there.
Dexter Fowler has been on base 4 times tonight. He walked in the 1st, 3rd, and 5th, doubled and scored in the 7th. One and 0. 1 for 5 with a home run against Hernandez. "26 pitches now for David Hernandez, 14 for strikes. Bumped it up to 94, 2-2. Tailing action on that away from the lefty.
Power on power right there.
T-back Nation wants that last strike. Here it is. 3-2. Jordan Pacheco is on deck. Pitch 29 on the way. High in the air, right center, way up in the air. Pollock is there. It stays in the yard, and it's a 1-2-3 ninth for David Hernandez. We'll go bottom 9. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. High fives all around Chase Field. Gerardo Parra will get it going in the ninth. 2-2 ball. Source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers D-backs baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. You can text At Bat to 31826 or visit dbacks.com for details. New pitcher for the Colorado Rockies, Matt Belisle. You saw Belisle yesterday.
Yeah, for an inning. Struck out a batter, walked a batter, zeros across the board otherwise. Fastball, slider, does have a curve and a changeup, rarely uses them.
Gerardo Parra singled his last time up to extend his National League best hit streak to 12 games in a row. He's 1 for 3. Parra, Wilson, and Pennington, the scheduled hitters here in the 9th. Reed Brignac will stay in the game. He replaces Nelson at 3rd. Pitcher spot is 8th in the order. Parra quickly down here, 0-2. Doesn't like the call from Gary Cederstrom. Good numbers against Belisle. If you're wondering, last night Matt Belisle threw 14 pitches. Came in a mess, 2nd and 3rd, no outs. Got a pop up, had a walk, another pop up, and a strikeout. There's another pop up. Brignac at 3rd.
Second baseman, Josh Wilson.
A reminder, after the game, Diamondbacks Live post-game show comes up. Here's Josh Wilson with his sort of Merv Griffin theme music. Find out what that is. It has a very big band 70s talk show kind of a feel to it. Merv's guest tonight, Patty Duke.
Here's Josh.
Josh singled back in the 2nd. He's also grounded out and struck out, 1 for 3. The rally shirts are going out there. I mean, this has become routine. That's going to get down for a base hit. 1 out single in the 9th for Josh Wilson. Winning run aboard for the Diamondbacks. Josh Wilson 2 for 4 tonight.
Hard slider from Belisle. Wilson catches it off the end of the bat. Just gets enough to get it over Tulowitzki in the shallow left center. Opens that hole on the right side of the field for Cliff Pennington. And I would assume we're going to see some throws to first, some step off the rubber here.
The whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Cliff Pennington is 0 for 3. He has struck out twice tonight. Now 1 for his last 28. Eric Chavez is on deck. He'll hit in the pitcher spot. Hey, there's a contract right there. Give that man a contract.
Yes, sir.
On the fly. He's got his date with him. Watch this play. Now that's what we're talking about. Doesn't lean over the railing, doesn't endanger himself or anyone else, makes a nice play, doesn't spill the beverage. That's a win. That's a contract. And there is the aforementioned throw over. And bonus points, he gave it to the little girl back.
Definitely give him a contract.
That's nice work.
Very nice.
Sir, outstanding job.
Skipped his prom tonight to come to the ball game.
Look at her. Look at that look.
Yeah,
That's
made
tremendous.
her night.
That's
nice
awesome.
going, sir.
0-2. Winning run at first with 1 out here in the 9th. Wouldn't mind getting a chance to see Eric Chavez get a crack at this. Chavez 1 for 4 Friday night, including his 3rd home run of the year. And he's on deck ready to hit for the pitcher.
How about a wild pitch?
High chopper to second, Rutledge. That'll move the runner along, 2 outs. So here's Eric Chavez, 2 outs in the 9th, winning run in scoring position. Chavez 1 for 4 here last night, had a home run in the 2nd inning. Over his last 7 games, Chavez in there at 273, 3 home runs and 7 RBI. He has yet to get a hit in his career against Matt Belisle. They will not mess with him. They'll work to Prado. Bob, they got first base open. And a right-handed hitter on deck.
Really, at this point, Chavez's run means absolutely nothing. Take that righty-on-righty matchup. Take your chances against Martin Prado. Prado 2 for 6 lifetime against Matt Belisle.
And Martin Prado is 8 for his last 59. 2 on and 2 outs here in the 9th. Prado, a career 298 hitter in the leadoff spot. He's batting leadoff tonight. And what a chance to provide some drama here. There is the walk-up routine. You can do a YouTube search of batting stance guy. Gar Inez has got the whole Prado routine down. That guy also skipped his prom. Here we go. 0-1.
Another high breaking ball called by Gary Cederstrom behind home plate. You may remember Gerardo Parras at bat. He had some words to say about a similar pitch just above the top of the zone.
Did he go? No, he did not, says Lance Barksdale. 1-1.
Tailing fastball really running inside to Prado. He checks it.
Josh Wilson is the winning run at second base. Eric Chavez on first. That time he did go, says Lance Barksdale.
Hard slider low and away. And
yeah, that's
Lance Barksdale's 2 for 2.
Struck him out. Diamondbacks strand 2 will play extras here at Chase. Top 10 on the way. Rockies and D-backs 2-2. Jack lane speed jerky feed near wild side. Here we go again.
Bonus baseball.
Tying the Diamondbacks single month record. This is our 6th extra inning game in this first month of this 2013 season. Diamondbacks 5-0 so far. And we'll play extras for a 6th time this year. And on the mound is the closer. We saw him in the series opener on Thursday. This is J.J. Putz.
J.J. with a clean inning in that opener in relief of Josh Colmenter, who pitched 3 outstanding innings, struck out a batter, walked a batter, zeros otherwise.
Pacheco, Cargo, Tulo here in the 10th. Jordan Pacheco singled in the 5th. He walked in the 1st. He's 1 for 3. Center field, A.J. Pollock. 1 pitch, 1 out. J.J. Putz most effective when that split finger fastball is sinking, dropping, diving. The pitch looked like a long lost friend in his last outing here against the Rockies Thursday night. He'd hung it twice on the 9-game road trip. Both times it was a disaster. Francisco Cervelli homered off Putz in the 9th at Yankee Stadium to tie a game. Then Brandon Belt did the same thing in San Francisco a few days later. But J.J. and the pitch look like their old selves against the Rockies here Thursday. He said he was able to command the ball for the most part, both on the fastball and the split. Here's Cargo. Pennington. 2 pitches, 2 outs for J.J. Putz. That's a page from the Brad Ziegler playbook. Last year, the Diamondbacks played 7 extra inning games for the entire season. This is extra inning game number 6 here this year. Troy Tulowitzki has been on base 4 times tonight. Walked in the 1st, singled in the 3rd, walked in the 5th, RBI single in the 7th.
Now, conventional wisdom would be that Troy Tulowitzki take until he gets a strike, since there's been 2 pitches and 2 quick outs, but I wouldn't assume anything. He does take one right down the pipe for strike 1.
J.J. said both the fastball and the splitter felt really good coming out of his hand his last outing. The split finger pitches were down. He got some chases, Kirk Gibson said.
Yeah, by far the best movement we've seen on that splitter. Really was finishing the pitch well, getting that tumbling action, late movement.
J.J. ahead here 0-2. And the great thing about J.J., he is hardly the type to be rattled. He has seen it all. He's been in every circumstance. and has a very matter-of-factly sort of way of putting it. He says, look, I've been through rough spots before. I'll go through some more rough spots again. It's just a matter of being able to put it behind you, keep working, and trust what you've been doing your whole career. Got the gnome and the rally hat.
Splitter on the way here. Good location. When you're ahead 0-2, you can afford to waste that pitch in the dirt. Maybe even another pitch in the dirt. He's fired up there low in the strike zone. Let it bottom out in the dirt and hope you get an aggressive swinger to chase that pitch.
Got him. J.J. Putz is back. A 1-2-3 10th. He gets Tulo to end the 10th. We'll go bottom 10 here at Chase Field. Extra innings one more time. There is the splitter. Can't find anywhere else. With tonight's game report from Jack Magruder, plus analysis on the NFL draft, along with Baseball Matters on Fox Sports Arizona. .com. When did the NFL draft, by the way, start going longer than the World Cup? Igmar Escalona on for the Rockies here in the bottom of the 10th. Pollock, Goldschmidt, and Montero 2, 3, and 4.
Well, like a lot of the Rockies reliever, Escalona, two-pitch guy, fastball in the low to mid-90s, hard slider, does have a changeup in his repertoire, but rarely throws it.
Now that's a rally hat.
Yeah.
That is a rally hat.
That's good for a win right there.
We saw Escalona work an inning in Thursday's series opener through 13 pitches. A.J. Pollock is 2 for 4, homered back in the first, his third of the year. A.J. 3 for his last 22. This was A.J. in the first off Jeff Francis.
Jumped on the Rocky lefty before he had an opportunity to get settled in out there on the mound. They tacked on another run later in the inning. Miguel Montero singled. Cody Ross with a triple down the right field line.
One and two.
Boy, how things have changed in this game. Jeff Francis started for the Rockies. His fastball was 86 miles an hour. Escalona in the game now throwing sliders 86.
Pollock so far in this series is 2 for 12. play. Five 5-0 so far in extras for the 6th time already this year. Base hit, A.J. Pollock aboard. Leadoff man on here for the Diamondbacks in the 10th. He's the winning run. And he's 3 for 5.
Well, occasionally you'll get penalized for guarding that line late in the ball game. Reed Brignac on a ball that normally would have been handled to his left, but because he was playing so close to the foul line, wasn't able to get to it.
Tell you what, if they pull this one off, she's going to have to come back every night in that outfit. Paul Goldschmidt singled his last time up. He also walked back in the 3rd. 0-1. Goldie 2 for 11 in the series so far, including that monster home run he hit here Thursday night off the top of the foul pole and left. Ooh, gets the call from Gary Cederstrom, and it's 0-2. He's called him high, and that one was maybe a smidge outside. Let's see.
It's hard to believe you can get tailing action on a 96-mile-per-hour fastball, but Escalona was able to work that one right back to the corner.
Backdoored him on that one, and it's 0-2. Struck him out. Second strikeout tonight for Paul Goldschmidt. One down here in the 10th.
Well, that's one you file away for future reference. Escalona just overpowered Goldie that time. 3 fastballs, mid to upper 90s. Last one right down the heart of the plate.
Yeah, those are some filthy pitches. Here's Miguel Montero, who has hit the ball hard basically every time he's been up there. Drove one to center in the 6th that Dexter Fowler made a spectacular diving catch on. Took one deep the other way in the 8th that ended up being a fly out to the track and left. He singled and scored back in the 1st, 1 for 4.
Only one hit in the game for Miggy, but probably the best streak of at-bats he's had in a long time. Swinging at good pitches, taking the borderline pitches, hitting the ball hard. Only an infield single to show for it here tonight.
9 for his last 57.
That's too bad. I think that ball actually hit A.J. Pollock. Looked like it was going to get through Pacheco, roll down that right field line. Yeah, it looked like it hit A.J. somewhere on the right side and stays right there.
You got to watch your fingers there, too. Pacheco could inadvertently step on his hand. There goes Pollock. He's in there. It gets into center field, and A.J. goes to 3rd. He'll hold up there. Winning run 90 feet away for the Diamondbacks. Force them into mistakes, and that's exactly what happened there.
Escalona with a little bit of a lean before he delivers the ball, allowing Pollock to get a big jump at first base. Rosario really rushes his throw to second.
Everybody's on the top step. Come on over. Willie, watch out for that oblique. He's waving them in.
Whole bunch of third base coaches over there in that dugout.
So A.J. gets credit for his third stolen base. That's an error on the catcher Rosario to get to third. And there it is, the winning run, and they're going to walk Montero in a 1-1 count. Look out! And they'll work to Cody Ross. Escalona's thinking about it now. Cody 1 for 4, RBI triple back in the first. Those were some of the ugliest intentional walk throws in the history of baseball. What do you think about that move, Bob?
Play the percentages. Escalona's been overpowering with that fastball. Sets up a potential double play. See how the Rockies play it defensively. They might play their middle infielders back. They may play everybody back and try to get the double play. It looks like they're going to come in.
High in the air, right side. That's out of play. Cody RBI triple in the first, struck out in the fourth, grounded out in the sixth and in the eighth. And he has a flair for the dramatic. A big 3-run home run last year against the White Sox for the Red Sox. A.J. Pollock is the winning run at third with one out here. Going to get the job done. Looking up, Fowler has it at the track. A.J. Pollock will tag, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are walking off. 6-0 in extra innings so far this year. Cody Ross wins it for the D-backs. Six 6-0 in extra innings this year, and they have won 5 of their last 7. And somehow they win it on a night, Bob, where their starting pitcher walks 7 and 4 and a third.
No pictures, just numbers. Boy, Cody Ross had been doing his homework, watching Escalona pitch to his teammates earlier in that 10th inning. Just geared it up to hit fastball. Escalona gave him a pitch he could hit. Got it deep enough into the outfield, no doubt about it. The only question was it going to be another 3-run walk-off homer? Instead, it's a sac fly to center field. Gotta love it.
There's the dugout reaction. Everybody knew it. And Cody Ross wins it. A.J. Pollock scores the winning run, and the Diamondbacks stay perfect in all these extra inning games this year. They are 6-0. Here comes Pollock with a winning run. Let's go downstairs to Brad. He's with the hero, Cody Ross.
Thanks, Steve. 6 times this season the D-backs have gone to extra innings. 6 times they've been victorious. What does it say about this club? You guys are never out of ball games.
I mean, we're going to keep fighting. We're resilient. It was just a great win overall. I mean, big hit by Pollock. Great base running. Great effort by the pitchers. Great team win.
They walk Miggy to get to you, and what did you see on that pitch? What are you trying to do? Obviously, just drive it deep.
I mean, he's got a really good fastball. I was just trying to stay on it and hit something in the outfield, and luckily it got in the air, and Pollock scored.
You had the RBI triple in the first inning. Wade Miley, who has been so good for this team this year, struggled. A rare off outing for him. How important was it for you guys to pick him up early in this game?
I mean, it was huge. We got 2 runs quick, and then they shut us down for a little bit, but we did it when it mattered.
You've been around this game for a while. How good does this feel when you do something like that?
I mean, this is as good as it gets. Obviously, it'd be nice to win an easy game, but these are always fun. 17
games decided by 2 runs or less this season. You guys have always been in them.
I mean, that's just the type of team we are. We're going to keep fighting, keep battling throughout the whole season, and hopefully we'll find ourselves in a good spot at the end.
Cody, job well done. Appreciate you stopping by. Guys, we'll send it back out to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Brad. Cody Ross, the hero, getting the ball in the air, scoring A.J. Pollock. A lot of good things happening there for the D-backs as they win in extra innings.